from Cuba, Khrushchev did so. So I think, there's no guarantees that the Chinese will end their presence in our hemisphere, the military presence, if we agree to do something to de-escalate over there. I think there's a good chance they will, and we won't know until we at least sit down and negotiate with them about these issues, and that's what we need to do. We've refused to negotiate with Russia about anything, and when you do that, you cast your adversary as an enemy, as somebody who can't even be talked to. It is a formula for war. And, my uncle understood that. He said, you got to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your adversary and understand their cultural, their national security interests, their national security anxieties, their cultural and historical perspective. And until we start doing that and talking to people, our adversaries, we're not going to de-escalate. But I believe the world wants to de-escalate, and everybody in the world, nobody wants a war between Russia and the United States, and we don't need one, and we can fight them on an economic landscape, and we can prevail.
Do you worry about this? I mean, what we've just talked about is there's a hardware war. I mean, we sell weapons all over the world, and I realize everyone's sort of building up, different countries building up. But what I worry about is a WMD like a virus, like a gain of function, something. Do you worry about that? Because I see that as sort of the next big fight, because those viruses don't see any borders, and they're relatively cheap to do this gain of function. I mean, it's just so. That's what I worry about more than the big hardware.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we know that the Chinese are developing ethnic bioweapons that are designed to attack people of certain racial types. And we're doing the same thing. We've been collecting Chinese DNA. We've been collecting Russian DNA specifically for that. This arms race is a catastrophe. In 1969, we had developed by then nuclear equivalency with bioweapons, so we could eliminate the same numbers of people with bioweapons at, I think, 29 cents a death. They calculated, the Defense Department and the CIA calculated at that time. And President Nixon did the most extraordinary thing. He went to Fort Detrick and he said, we are unilaterally ending the bioweapons arms race. We are giving up all of our bioweapons. We're going to destroy them. We're going to disable the capacity at Fort Detrick, and we're not going to make them anymore. And 3 years later, almost all the nations on the earth signed a charter stopping bioweapons production. And the problem was the CIA continued to do secret bioweapons production in our country. The Russians found out about that and rejigged their program. And then after 2001, we passed the Patriot Act, which reopened the arms race, which basically canceled out Nixon's 1979 treaty and launched a new bioweapons arms race, and everybody else in the world is doing it. And the impacts, as you point out, Greta, are horrific. We need to stop it. We need to go to all those nations, and we need to say to them, let's get rid of all the bioweapons. I'll give you one other issue that is really frightening to me, is AI. Elon Musk said AI, first it's going to take our jobs, then it's going to kill us. We cannot allow the uncontrolled development of AI around the world. We need to be negotiating with Russia, with the Chinese, with the Iranians. We need to stop the wars, stop the saber rattling, and negotiate directly with them to figure out how we are going to have treaties in place that control this out-of-control AI development that is an existential